Hi all! In this video I'll tell you how I learned to wheelie on his motorcycle. Everyone wants it without any falls, so I'm not delaying it. Let's go. Hi all! Today I'll tell you how I learned to ride on the back. Of course not in 24 hours, how completely my path went. I was so upset that I couldn't even stand on the rear wheel passed before I learned how to do it properly. The beginning of my journey, actually. At first I tried to lift the bike into first gear, just like that. Show me, haha, come on. By the way, this is also a rather important point. Fix in your head that while you have legs are on the running boards, you are safe. If you are on coal, you will remove them. That's all for now, so it's worth keeping your feet on the footrests. Through myself, through fear, through I can't. And yes, of course he rose, but the transmission. Then somewhere closer to the middle season, and it was the 4th year, I just bought this motorcycle and I still had no experience. I picked it up in second gear from the gas, and even then he could barely stand up there. I couldn't jump at all. And then somehow the thought occurred to me. I was told in the comments that you can try with clutches, and I don't understand how this is even done. What needs to be done for this is equals, well, you just need to feel this moment. Well, I still can't lift it just as I couldn't. And that is, when you press the clutch, there is a moment when it engages. I have it somewhere around here, and you need to squeeze the clutch, preferably with one finger, not two, because when you squeeze the chain with 2 fingers, you can't release it abruptly, and that is, the bike doesn't get that sudden jerk under the butt. And just at this moment, you press one finger because it can easily move away so quickly you just let it go and clutch. The clutch suddenly releases and the bike grabs and flies. At first, of course, I tried to lift the bike with just 2 fingers on the clutch, throwing it sharply like this, but nothing worked. And that's how my 2024 season ended. And now the 2025 season is starting. I'm returning to this machine for the new motorcycle season, and I'm just itching to learn how to stunt. And I can only say that if you don't practice a lot, you simply won't succeed. So I started doing it every day. Yeah, I didn't devote all my time to it, but every time I went anywhere, as soon as I had second gear, I tried to lift the axle from second gear off the clutch. Anyway, it's the first day of learning to stunt. First training session. Yeah. Well, now I'll show you what I can do.
Watch that.
see anything like that. So, the training sessions are quite intense. Saturated. Try it. We only do it. Only by training. I did this, I was driving about my business and I was constantly braking somewhere. I was in second gear and I was constantly raising it, that is, I was training. And it happened that my bike just broke down. And the centrifuge in the motor just broke down and some time passes, about a month and a half, give or take. I buy this motor, install this motor, and return to normal driving, and that's when I started practicing on a regular basis. I started practicing every day no matter where I'm driving, always in second, third. And it all got to the point that I lift up in second gear and the bike spins to the cutoff and then just doesn't go any further because, well, second gear is also short, and a very important point is that I didn't reach the balance of Willie. I wasn't trying to catch the balance, I was just trying to ride. The goal was to go for a ride, and it was the second gear that was limiting me. Yes, of course, if you immediately have balance at low speeds, the rear wheel doesn't help you with balance at low speeds. That is, when you're driving at high speeds. I don't remember what it's called, but it helps you maintain balance, so you're not thrown to the sides. And so it turned out that I had to learn to shift from second to third gear or higher. You just need to take into account that I was riding in second gear the whole time. That is, I would lift the bike, it would hit the cutoff and fall. And at that moment I started trying to learn how to change gears. For me it was super difficult, because I haven't yet fully mastered how to lift it so that I don't fly off or hit anything. And you know, it's all 3 in 1. As soon as you get into a car and learn to drive a manual transmission, it's very confusing and difficult, but over time I learned and got used to clicking into third gear.
Своим рэпом напичкаю читатив чем-нибудь значительным, чем-нибудь таким, к чему не подобрать ключи. Тем, от чего заболеешь, и не спасут врачи. В темах не мельчи, в каждой речи зачитывать ритм не надо особых причин. Помню чинную, чему меня учитель учил. Делай рыбчину так же, как делаешь тайчи. Подчиво, сморчиво, это лучше чил. Мою личность не только для прокачанных точил. Под ногами много всякой бесполезной мелочи. Ночью за столом, на столе включен ночник. Немало переборчик.
And then it started switching on its own somehow.
Этот черновик, если мой спич звучит нарочито вычурно, вычеркни меня из плейлиста.
This is also quite important because if you have a moment when you hit the cutoff in second, I don't think it's worth torturing the engine. You can, of course, learn at low speed. They're in first and second to find the balance, but it's a little difficult, as I think. I learned in a completely different way. Again, I just hammered on speed and distance. And thanks to this I learned, and this is very important if you just want to learn how to drive like me and then somehow grow into something more. And that's how I started switching from third to fourth, and it started to be much easier for me. Regarding the brake, since I learned to stunt without falling, all my time while I was with the rear wheel, I never fell, although there were moments that were close by. How did I learn to use it? In general, initially I lifted the bike just in first gear and clicked the brake. At first I thought that it was not helping me at all, so I just gave up on it, although I did quite a lot too. Then I started trying to lift the bike in second gear and lower it with the brake. That is, I specifically click in my head, so I lifted it. Clicked and did this 1,000 times. I just clicked and did this 1,000 times. I just did the same. Then I started doing this in third and somehow got used to it. And the most important thing is that I realized that I can do everything. That is, I will react and everything will be clear. So one day in October, I arrived at the dacha, and in the morning, I still had a buzz and went for a quick ride, and since the tires are cold, the clutch is cold on the bike, a little bit of this sluggishness occurs and the response is not instantaneous. That is, you give gas somewhere after 2 seconds. Maybe it only starts to rise higher. And the road was very bumpy and there were huge potholes, so I'm standing in reverse. I'm already in fourth gear, that is, a high gear, high speed, and at that moment moment, my rear wheel flies into this hole, and I'm thrown so sharply into the corner. I just give it even more gas, and at the same time there's a bump, and the gas lifts me up. I understand that I'm in a fucking corner, and I'm starting to just slide down, but somehow I don't know how my foot pressed the brake itself. Then I realized that I really can use it. Then there was a moment when I accidentally got into a wheelie balance. I also got scared and just mechanically pressed this brake. Also often on speed bumps, it hits very hard and you have to press it. That's when I realized it. I'm driving around Moscow, and this is also a very important point because I immediately moved to Moscow and started driving here. And here for some reason I had a huge level up. I could feel the motorcycle more, and just as I raised the bike sharply to second, I sharply switched to third. This all happens instantly, and I feel that I have some kind of huge angle. I release the gas and my bike rolls for literally 2 seconds, but I didn't understand what it was. Like, while I'm driving, my bike rolls by itself. I didn't understand what was happening. And this feeling that this moment gave me, I began to chase it, and that's how I began to catch my balance. Of course, now the season is over. I've settled on the fact that I'm just starting to catch it. I can ride a little and that's it. But I consider this a huge achievement of mine because I really wanted to learn how to stunt, and in principle I succeeded. So, I think I've told you everything I wanted. I'm waiting for comments.